is the Mercedes cross-country vehicle, or in short Glende wagon, or in shorter the G wagon or the G class. But this is the top of the line, the G63 AMG, which is priced at around rupees 4 crores, which means you're going to pay rupees 47 lakhs for registration, and the insurance cost for the very first year happens to be rupees 10 lakhs. Yes, this car is expensive, but can get a lot more expensive if you opt for customization, because there's a lot of customization possibility with this vehicle, because Mercedes has a program known as manufacturer. All the German car companies name it the same, wherein you can get 31 interior color options and 29 exterior color options other than the regular colors. So yeah, customization to the moon and back. This is the key of the vehicle. It is finished in black, AMG written right here. Unlock the car, lock the car. That's about it. Now Mercedes likes to call it an all new model, which means a generation change. However, this seems to be the facelift of the G class, which gets certain features which should have been there in this car long time back. That said, this particular car is now codenamed W465. The earlier model was codenamed W463, wherein Mercedes is trying to tell all of us that this is actually a generation change, but it is actually a facelift. Where did the W464 vanish? Actually, that is the G-Wagon for commercial operation. Straight away, let's open the engine bay, because this is the highlight of the G63, and oh my god, it is so hot. Where do I find the... Yesterday I was opening it so comfortably, and now I failed to see. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. Okay, gas struts there, insulation with a different material right there. Says AMG, one man, one freaking engine, handcrafted by Mr. Yukesh, which has been proudly displayed right here. The engine bay is actually filled completely. It feels and is actually super duper hot. Washer fluid goes in right here. Some numbers here, Mercedes-Benz embedded right here. In fact, this is also embedded, that number. I don't know what that number is, but it is embedded so that nobody can obviously do something wrong, which is quite nicely done. Looks so unique. This car is a piece of art, and that's the reason why it holds its value so damn well, and that's one of the reasons why Mercedes keeps increasing the prices of the G class. Now this being the G63 AMG obviously is very fast. The engine remains the same as before, but now it gets mild hybrid technology. The grille gets the AMG night package too. That's the reason it is finished in black. Even the logo is finished in black, and the radar is obviously placed right behind the AMG logo here. Meanwhile, you get a camera. You get two cameras actually. One is for the lane keep assist, and the other is the dash cam, which obviously enables traffic light view. There's also a rain sensor. The iconic placement of the indicators on the hood, which obviously cost Mercedes a lot of money. Yeah, they've complicated it, but that is one of the trademarks of the G-Wagon. And the other trademark is obviously the round headlight, which is complete LED here. It gets the washer function too. Yeah, headlight washer is here. The bumper has been revised. It gets these new 3 slats. There are front parking sensors, 6 of them, because this car can also self-park. Carbon fiber treatment, because it has got the exterior carbon fiber package as well. There's the camera for the front. Yeah, it gets a 360-degree camera too. So G-Wagon is filled with a lot of features, and it says AMG here on the grille. Now this particular color is the copper orange Magno, which is obviously an optional color, and it looks awesome. In fact, the ground clearance is such, it is approximately 241 mm, which cannot be raised because there's no air suspension, that you can actually see the tires. Yeah, they are quite exposed here. This car is running on optional 22-inch wheels, 295/40/22s. Alloy wheel design is actually nice, says AMG right there. Red colored brake calipers, but the brake dust has absolutely covered it completely right now. These are Goodyear Eagle F1 tires on this car, which seems out of place because those are sportier tires. It is not having off-road tires. There you can see the suspension, which has been revised, and there is a vent for better breathing. However, because the tires are so big, when you turn the wheel now, it seems that the tire is almost going to scrub the front bumper. That is how big the tire is. And look at the way the insulation has been done, how the exhaust is running all the way only to the side, because the exhausts are obviously mounted to the side of the car, which is one of the unique elements of the G63 AMG. The regular G-Wagon, the diesel version, does not get it. Exposed hinges here, another trademark style of the G-Wagon. Someone's signature, can you tell me whose? Carbon fiber treatment here on the outside rear view mirrors. There's obviously a camera here, again exposed hinges, V8 bi-turbo AMG, and this carbon fiber strip which runs throughout the car. Now it also gets keyless entry, which is another feature which has been added. I'm not going to touch it because as soon as I touch it, the car will obviously lock itself. Yeah, it will turn off and lock itself. To save fuel in these days, Mercedes has this feature when the car turns off automatically if you get out of the car. It says G here, the traditional button to be pushed to open the car. In terms of length, this car is almost 4.9 meters. The wheelbase is almost 2.9 meters. The height 2 meters and the width 2.2 meters. Yeah, this is a very wide car. Rear tire size is the same, 295/40/22. Beautiful design of the alloy wheels. I love it, and obviously you can opt for a different design as well, because the sky is the limit. This is an AMG at the end of the day, and it says that on the red colored brake calipers at the rear too. Let's open this. Attention to detail is so awesome, with the AMG logo on the cap as well. That's kind of cool. Another big feature which has been added to this car, which has actually come from the electric version of the G-Wagon, is they have added this rubber to reduce the wind sound. Has to be reduced in this car because it looks like a box, so it cannot cheat aerodynamics, and that's the reason they've added this, so that it kind of reduces the sound of the wind to make it quieter. And the rear is obviously very similar to what it was before. However, since this car has the carbon fiber exterior package, it has a carbon fiber spare wheel cover as well. It says AMG here. The lights are the same as before. Yeah, it does not have the dynamic swipe function. This is the rear fog. You get 6 parking sensors at the rear. This is the towing hook, and you can see the underbody. Yes, it is a body on frame platform, which is one of the unique bits about the G-Wagon. There's a camera here. There's actually a washer for this camera as well, which is quite nice. And it says G63 right there. In fact, there's something designed on the button here, which looks like a key to me. Let's open it, and there is Napa leather here, a nice handle to hold on to with carbon fiber treatment. The spare wheel is 265/50/20, so smaller size. You get a rear wiper washer, obviously. The parcel shelf can be opened like this, which is very easy, and there is no toolkit here. So how do you remove the spare tire? That's interesting, I'll tell you. There's a speaker here, light 12-volt charging socket right there. This parcel shelf thing can be removed, and once you do that, you can actually access the middle row from here. The boot size is actually 640 liters. If you put the rear seats down, that extends to 2010 liters, making it very spacious. There's obviously a net here. I think this is the first aid kit. High visibility jacket. Everybody should wear a high visibility jacket when you go off-road, and the mats. But what is this wood treatment? It actually has the wooden floor, which is an option for rupees 3.8 lakh rupees. Things are expensive when you obviously opt for optional kit in this car. I think this is so that you can hang stuff. There's a light placement here. Beautiful treatment on the roof. Look at it. Amazing. You don't close the door by pushing it softly. You bang close the door, because the G-Wagon is all about being rugged. There's a high mounted stop lamp. Yes, it looks like a box. Yes, it is something which people call as a Miroki Bolero.
Control.
But trust me on this, the G-Wagon's level of engineering is something 1 million Boleros cannot match. Straight away, let me show you the rear wiper from here as well. It's hidden. Take that Range Rover, take that Hyundai's Tucson, and washer fluid comes out from here. There's this small treatment here, I think for air to flow. I don't know how that works, but it's there obviously. It has these flared wheel arches because the tires are much bigger here. So how do they make sure that this car's tires don't pop out of the body? They've flared the wheel arches quite a lot, and the mud flap obviously has the Mercedes logo as well. It has the side footsteps, so you have to climb into the vehicle, and there is decent amount of space right here. Some exposed bits like the motor for the front seat movement can be seen. And in order to put the seat down, you can just pull it like this. Okay, it has this multiple step recline to it. It's not going to happen with one hand. No, it's not. So we're going to use both our hands to do it, and that's the maximum it goes. Yeah, it doesn't go any further. Why does it happen like this? Simply because in order to recline the seat or fold it down, you have to actually push it open from here. That is the warning triangle. This is the tire inflator, and here you get the tool kit, all of which has been placed below. There's nothing there. Okay, that seat also opens. So yeah, this is a very weird way of how Mercedes has done it. Let me push it back up. So this is completely upright, and then when I recline it, it reclines by quite a lot to make it extremely comfortable. Red finishing here, amazing seats, Isofix child seat mounts, obviously. Doors open decently wide. You get massive door pockets at the rear. Beautiful treatment of the speakers, the carbon fiber accents, leather, red stitching, seat heating, no seat ventilation. Ventilation would have been nice. There is no rear sun blind, which is disappointing for sure. Rear AC vents, and you have to actually climb into this car. There's good amount of space actually. Foot room is good, knee room is good. Under thigh support is not the best. It's decent. Headroom is actually adequate enough. There's a microphone here. Hook, handle, light, and again, I think that is the hook, so that you can put your coat. Height adjustable seat belts at the front, center AC vents too, and it has got a 3-zone climate control air conditioning system, 2 USB-C charging sockets, 2 HDMI ports as well. Why HDMI? because this is an 11.6 inch screen, which is obviously part of the rear seat entertainment package. It says AMG when I turn it on. I'm just going to use it without profile. You can actually do almost everything from here, which is quite amazing. I'll show you something very cool. Let's get into the settings. Okay, you obviously can control the ambient lighting, everything you can do at the front, almost everything you can do at the rear as well, which is quite weird. Because firstly, let me turn on the clock. Look at the effect with which the clock turns on, the IWC clock. Wow, isn't that awesome? And then that also converts into a stopwatch. You have the off-road menu, something which Mercedes is really focusing on these days, and there's something known as track pace, wherein you can actually time the car. How do you time the car from the rear? Which means you have to coordinate with the front passenger. The front passenger obviously has all these features as well, so he can do it too. You can control the air conditioning, the audio system. The navigation has the AR function, augmented reality, which is amazing. Okay, there's a center armrest with twin cup holders, no screen here or a tablet. Center passenger gets a head. This is almost flat, so 3 people can sit in comfortably because the car is definitely very wide, and the dashboard is more or less the same as before, but minor modifications have been done. There's a speaker here. In fact, there's a speaker there as well. This car has got 18 speakers, 760 watt output. I know it breaks your heart. Move to the city in a broke down. Amazing audio quality because it's obviously from Burmester. I love it. Again, exposed hinges, which are super duper awesome. Let's get out of the car. Everything is lined, and look at it how it closes with this softness. It says airbag here because this car has got 9 freaking airbags. Before that, let me bang close the door. You know what? It has an airbag here for the knee for both the front passengers. Again, everything is so leathered. Glove box is decent size. It's beautifully lined. There's a coin holder here as well. Look at the leather. Almost everywhere they have smashed leather inside this car, which is quite awesome. So in terms of the features, what all has improved in this car? Well, finally this car is now having a touchscreen. That's about it. That's a major change. Buttons have been revised from here to there. The engine gets a mild hybrid system. So all these things are not worthy enough to make this a new generation model, but thankfully this car lives on with the V8 because they've actually downsized for the G550, which now gets a 6-cylinder instead of a V8. Why is the window open? Because I needed to show you the thickness of the glass. Yeah, insulation is the name of the game here. Door pockets again big at the front. Speaker. This AMG actually lights up at night, which looks beautiful. There's a fire extinguisher here. Proper dead pedal. Beautiful pedals. Airbag, it says. These are the controls for the lights. This is for the electric parking brake. Beautiful leather treatment. You can make multiple adjustments for the seat from here, but you cannot control the co-passenger seat in this particular car. Meanwhile, seat ventilation and obviously seat heating. And the funny thing is you can turn both of them on at the same time. What is this? It's like polarizing to have both heating and cooling at the same time. And you have 3 memory settings as well. This is so perched up. These are controls for the power windows, and this is obviously for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. Beautiful AC vents here. Seats are nice and comfortable. It says AMG right there, and you have to actually climb into the car. Meanwhile, it tells you information about the weight of the vehicle. I think tire pressure recommendation would be somewhere. Oh my god, I dropped $1 million key. And it says Mercedes Shuckle proof. Basically, Shuckle is a mountain which is just 15 kilometers away from Graz, where the G-Wagon is tested. G-Wagon is only made in Graz. That also by Magna Steyr. I think it's a subsidiary of Mercedes-Benz. Now, let's shut the door. Not softly, but bang, close the door. That's the beauty. Let's turn off the air conditioning. Thankfully, we have got a lot of physical buttons here, which is amazing. These are the controls for the air conditioning, obviously. And when you increase the AC temperature, the vents actually become red. And you decrease it, they become blue. That is so freaking cool. Air conditioning is an absolute chiller. A nice grab handle to hold onto, which says manufacturer. Again, splashed in carbon fiber. So you get a lot of carbon fiber accents here. There's some amount of storage space here. USB-C charging socket. There's no USB-A in this car, which is good. Yeah, this is actually a decent size. Meanwhile, love the nerd finishing here. There's a wireless charging pad, 12-volt charging socket, 2 USB-C charging sockets, and these particular cup holders have the heating and cooling function as well. Isn't that awesome? And now it has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both of which work wirelessly. And for the first time, we are having a touchscreen in a G-Wagon. Isn't that super duper awesome? The dashboard is flat, so there is no heads-up display. You obviously get a sunroof, which I will open right now. Yeah, the sunroof is small. It should have got a panoramic sunroof because at this price, you were like, yeah, I want a panoramic sunroof. But no, there is no panoramic sunroof. It just has this Chintu Mintu sunroof, which is okay because at the end of the day, this is a G-Wagon. It doesn't have to be a luxury car, but somehow it is. Here you get a mirror and light, but this thing does not extend, and you obviously get a microphone here on the top. The driver also has a handle to hold on to because obviously body roll is the name of the game. You sit so high up, you see the complete hood, and the wipers, they work beautifully well here. Yeah, the wipers are amazing. Lot of spray. auto dimming mirror, another speaker placement here, light controls for the connected car bit, which is known as the Mercedes Me. Now, buttons have been added here. There's a button for off-road cockpit. When you press this, it will actually bring you to the off-road menu, which is nice because there's a warm-up, there's engine data. You can see multiple things like how the drive is. So they have gone ahead and given it a lot of information. Active suspension. Wow, isn't that absolutely crazy? This is to get into manual mode and this is to get into low range. All the buttons are here right now. There was this thing to rest your hand to operate the touchpad, but that has been removed now. But it still continues with the touchpad, which is again amazing. Navigation, radio, media, telephone, and this is for the parking camera. This is for the car settings. This is to go through the drive modes. This is for the volume controls, and again buttons for the audio system. And this is just amazing because it's so easy to operate. And the thing which is not easy to operate are these touch sensitive buttons on the steering wheel. The earlier model had better buttons, but now these are touch sensitive. This is the new AMG steering wheel, which has a flat bottom treatment. It says AMG here. It also has these beautiful dials wherein you can customize the drive mode on the go, which is quite amazing. You can simply press it like this and do that. And now it also has drive mode selector on the steering wheel with multiple drive modes, and it has now got race start as well. Yeah, that's right. This car has now got race start. Okay, why is it not activating race start? We are in sport mode. What's the, yeah, there it is. Race start has come in this car. That is so cool. Without having a race mode, this car has got race start because this car has got the AMG drivers package, which also boosts the top speed of the vehicle. Again, that costs some money. Paddle shifters, which clearly say up and down. Cruise control buttons, audio system buttons, and this is to browse through this screen. Yeah, you can browse through this screen. From here, you can browse through this screen, and you've got multiple views as well. Look at that. There's track pace in a G-Wagon. There's super sport, sport, classic, understated. How many menus? Mercedes is like, yes, navigation, assistance, off-road, and service. I'm going to show all of them to you while driving the car, of course, but this is an information overload. My personal favorite is obviously this particular one. So this is a 12.3 inch screen. This is also a 12.3 inch screen. The screens are just amazing. The quality of screens in Mercedes-Benz cars is top notch, kind of unbeatable. Tweeter placement here. Some instructions on how to run in your vehicle, obviously. It says airbag right there. Steering feels really nice to hold, and obviously it is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. You just press this button and then you can adjust the steering wheel. The good part is you can also adjust the under thigh support. So the under thigh support has been extended all the way. I can bring it in with the touch of a button. Yeah, these controls are so easy to operate. Mercedes does some amazing work in terms of the quality of the switches and everything, all the switch gear and all. This is a familiar Mercedes screen with an updated OS. It's using the NTG7, the latest OS of the Mercedes software for the infotainment system, which is absolutely slick to use. It's just amazing. The navigation is so damn cool. It's so high resolution. Meanwhile, you have the phone, radio, all these settings are there, media, MD apps. Some of the apps might entertain you if they're Sudoku, but there doesn't seem to be Sudoku here. And in comfort, you have massages as well. Look at this. You got multiple massages for the front seat passengers, which is so damn awesome. And then the seat connectors, ambient lighting is amazing because you've got multicolor, and then you have got 64 colors here. Ambient light works amazingly well at night, and there's something known as energizing comfort. It's like a spa of sorts. And then there is something known as the off-road, which is something I've already shown you because that's the off-road menu. There's AMG performance, which actually shows you vehicle data. You have a G-force meter as well. You have engine data too. There it's showing how much power and torque it's consuming. And the clock. So no more analog clock is being the cool factor now. A digital clock which looks like this, which also works as a stopwatch. Why a stopwatch? Am I taking this car to the track? Probably I'll need to, because if it has something like this, then definitely it needs to go on the track. And then there's AMG track pace, which actually has some tracks mapped inside. So you can do lap timings. Who takes a G-Wagon to the track is something I am absolutely confused about. But yes, that particular feature is also there. You can do drag race, basically launches, and understand how the car is performing. So this car is just overloaded in terms of features, and I just deactivate this. Multiple functions, all the settings inside here, super easy to use. Then you can decide the devices. But how is the camera? Because now it gets a 360-degree camera with a transparent bonnet as well. So there you see, you can actually change it, but this particular car does not have a sunroof. The color is not my favorite though, and when you give an indicator, it actually shows that as well. That is the level of attention to detail. The camera quality is just amazing. There's self-park function too. My goodness, this car has so many freaking features. So why would you buy the GLS? Probably because it costs less, obviously, and there you get so much information. You actually have a G-force meter also somewhere here. Like, it's an information overload, I'll be honest with you. can get a bit confusing at times, but this one is actually quite cool the way the engine data is shown right here. Engine start button, this is for the stop start system. It gets an acoustic glass here to make sure that even though the windscreen is quite upright, the sound does not come inside. And when you unlock the car at night, it actually shows you the G-Wagon logo along with stronger than time text as well. So that's also super cool. How's the horn? Horn is lovely, simply lovely. Since Mercedes has a gas selector here, how do you activate the rear wipers? You do it from here. So this is for the rear wiper control. This is for the front wiper control. And if you press this inside, it turns on the washer as well. So it's a bit different how it has been done. You'll notice the carbon fiber accents almost everywhere. And of course, because it's a G-Wagon, it has got 3 locking differentials. Yeah, 3 locking differentials. Center lock, rear lock and a front lock as well. And it's so easy to operate. The quality of the buttons, fit, finish and all is supremely awesome. But how does it drive? Does it drive better when compared to before? Let's go. Alright, time to start driving. Notice this. It has this animation when you lock and unlock the vehicle and turn it on and off for the first time after a bit of a break. Let's turn on the vehicle. And the biggest USP of this car is obviously the sound when you lock and unlock the doors. It's like a gun firing shot. Straight away, let's come into Sport Plus mode, which also means we will change this to the engine data. And I'm also going to change another aspect here. We are going to come into the sport display. So AMG Performance, engine right here. And I need to turn off the traction control. So I press it once, sport handling mode. I keep it pressed again. And as soon as it is pressed for 3 seconds, it turns off traction control completely. It also gives me the coffee sign telling me that the driver attention monitor is turned off completely. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, race start. Notice the car is going to one side. Yes, there is some sort of roll. So I did the brake test immediately. Tires do screech. When you launch the car aggressively, okay, hazards turned off automatically. When you launch the car aggressively, it actually goes to one side. That's the kind of performance. It lifts up all the squatting will happen at the rear only, and it launches with so much aggression. It's quite unbelievable and awesome as well. But the big change here is that the ride quality has improved quite a lot. Obviously, it's a body on frame platform. That's the reason there is this lumpiness, which is expected. However, this car does ride better when compared to before, and low profile tires don't really help it. But the ground clearance is fixed at 241 mm. There's no air suspension here. Adaptive dampers are standard. However, now it has got AMG Ride Control, which is a semi-active suspension, which is the big change here, which definitely improves the way this car rides. But we'll come to that a bit later. What has happened to the engine? It's a 4-liter OG fast beamers, remember this place? No longer possible to do a walk around here. So the 4-liter bi-turbo V8 has been retained, but it gets mild hybrid technology. The engine alone makes 585 PS of power, 577 horsepower, and the torque output is 850 Newton meters. But it gets a 48-volt mild hybrid system because they have to do that for better efficiency and reducing emissions of the car to meet new emission norms. The result is that the mild hybrid system gives you this coasting function, wherein this car will be able to shut off the engine when it is being driven at a constant speed or when cruising. In fact, this car also shuts 4 of its cylinders under 45 km per hour when you're driving it leisurely. There, this lady always keeps talking.
Caution, sharp curve in 70 meters.
I've tried turning it off so many times, she doesn't turn off. See, I come to this setting and I decide enough of this thing, voice output, driving recommendation, volume off. But still she will come and make sound. Anyways, as soon as you come and stop at signal, it has this traffic light view here. So I was telling you, it can shut 4 of its cylinders, which is quite amazing. And I think some politician is going to be coming, but here we go. Come on, power! Acceleration is just unbelievable. How can a brick which weighs 2,500 kgs accelerate with such ease is unbelievable. So the old car went from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.5 seconds. The new one goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.4 seconds. All thanks to the mild hybrid technology giving you 20 horsepower and 200 Newton meters of additional boost. But this car with a race start goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.3 seconds. The Brabus G800, which has 800 horsepower and 1000 Newton meters of torque, goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.1 seconds. we're going to test the 0 to 100 km per hour acceleration of this car. We come into Sport Plus mode. We are going to come into track pace here. And then I can actually do a drag race start. So it's going to tell me ready, hazard lights off, revving the motor, race start, and off we go. That's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.3 seconds, exactly as per Mercedes' claim, but that is on my own specialist timing here. Mercedes itself says it goes in 4.45 seconds as per the car's testing equipment right now. However, Mercedes' claim is 4.3 seconds, but why is it showing the car to be slower than it actually is? Because the car is actually faster than what Mercedes claims. That's so humble of Mercedes-Benz. In fact, the acceleration is so brutal that under heavy acceleration, the sun blind actually opens. Yeah, that was quite surprising for me, because in the Brabus, it was opening. So I was like, yeah, obviously with almost 1000 Newton meters of torque and 800 horsepower, that is expected. But this car's sun blind also opens under heavy acceleration as the car launches with so much aggression. But the fun part here is that the sun blind is made of very good quality. It's not cheap in any way at all. It's very robust, yet it still opens. So when you're driving it sedately, you don't even feel that you're driving something with so much power. So I've come in comfort mode. It's very relaxed. It's so easy going, and you have a great view of what's around because you sit so high up now. Every car looks like a scale model to you. Yeah, that's how big this car is. In fact, you see the whole hood, which is just amazing. The driving feel here is just next freaking level, which is quite amazing. In fact, that is one of the biggest USPs of this car there. The blind view alert is blinking, and ADAS functions are obviously very aggressive depending on how you tweak it, because in the most aggressive mode, the ADAS feature will kick in quite early.
Caution, sharp.
So yeah, that is a bit too sensitive here. Doesn't make much sound at lower speeds. I think that's also because now the 48-volt mild hybrid system ensures that there is grunt. The engine doesn't really have to work that much harder in any way at all. Okay, let me quickly change this into the off-road cockpit immediately, because we're going to be talking about what is relevant off-road, which is the new AMG ride control suspension. Basically, it is part of the optional AMG performance package, which also gives it the race start function and increases the top speed from 220 kilometers per hour to 240 kilometers per hour. Not that you care, because how can you even take this brake to those speeds? Somehow this car is actually very stable at high speeds, because the improvements to the wind buffeting is definitely felt because of what they have added somewhere here, which is something they learned from the electric version of the G-Wagon. The EQG is not the name, it is the G Electric, or the G580 is the variant in which it actually comes. So talking about the new suspension here, it is a semi-active suspension, and it is state of the art because the roll bars are gone. Gaye, khatam, finish, khalas, over ho gaye, and they have been replaced by a hydraulic system which can actually vary the compression and rebound settings for the dampers, and it all works magically well to reduce the body roll of the vehicle. In fact, the ride improves, it is also more stable, so body control improves because of that. And the most important part is it also improves the off-road capability of this car, because now the articulation also improves. So yes, that is amazing. But the standard G63 comes with regular adaptive dampers. There's obviously no air suspension here, but the semi-active suspension is something which is just amazing and really transforms the experience of driving this particular G-Wagon, since we are in this off-road mode. Let me come into the off-road mode here as well on the instrument cluster. The screens are so amazing. Even in this bright sun now, you can see everything clearly. That's how beautiful it is. I'm just doing the wiper test randomly because I have nothing else to do at the moment. The steering also has adaptive feel to it, so it is light at lower speeds, weighs up brilliantly well at higher speeds. The only thing is that now, because of the big fat engine which has so much grunt and mild hybrid technology, turbo lag is extremely well contained, firstly, and secondly, because it is having so much grunt, you don't feel the weight at all, which is almost 2.5 tons. So 2489 kgs is the weight of this car, which is quite a lot. Yeah, this is a heavy car in any which way you look at it, but the performance really defies physics because it just has so much grunt. The way it accelerates is mind-blowing. There's so much performance. It has a 9-speed torque converter gearbox, which is decently quick with shifts, not the fastest, but then it gets the job done. I'm going to quickly change the drive mode. So there are obviously multiple drive modes. There's an individual mode which lets you alter a lot of things. So you can change the engine, you can obviously change the suspension, how the damping happens. AMG dynamics can be tweaked as well. So many settings here. You can do it on the steering wheel too. Individual, comfort, sport, sport plus. There is no race mode, but there is a race start here, which is quite awesome. So when you press this M button here, which is for manual mode, it comes into manual mode obviously, and it will not upshift unless and until you decide to do so. There it will hold on to almost around 6,800 RPM. Yeah, that is crazy. The engine does sound nice, but it's not very loud on the inside because insulation levels have been improved a lot here. So you can't hear much as such, which is a bit disappointing because you want the roar, you want the pops and cracks, which are there. But again, insulation has improved for just making the car more comfortable. Although it should be louder, they should pipe in even more sound from the speakers, which is actually a bad thing. But somehow this is not as loud. And then, like I was telling you, the ADAS functions work really aggressively. This car defies physics in the way it pulls ahead, and because of the body on frame platform, low profile tires, yes, even expansion joints do move the car a bit, so you can hear a bit of that. Honestly, the diesel makes a lot more sense. The diesel will come in G450D, guys, in maybe GYSE, not GUYS, so you don't become attentive when I say such things. It will be coming, I think, in a few months' time. Let's quickly change the drive mode. Let's actually come, not the drive mode, actually, the instrument cluster mode. Let's come to assistance, which is actually quite cool because the way it shows you stuff around is mind-blowing. And obviously, it is not going to, yeah, it's ringing for the blind view monitor. There, it's telling me reverse cross traffic alert. Not going to ring for the forward collision warning because traction control is turned off completely. And you know what? This car is so top heavy that someone managed to flip the car in Dubai recently just by taking a small turn, which was quite shocking to me. Like, how is that even possible? Maybe more people were seated on the left side. That's a result of, I mean, that's one of the reasons. On one side, which actually is the flipping side, is one of the reasons why it flipped, because of more weight on one side. Probably it's my guess, because this car feels very stable. It's not the car which would just flip like that. I don't know how that happened. But this car can also give you a headache if you drive like how I'm doing right now. It's continuous jerks and all, because you accelerate, you leave. There's that movement always. In fact, heavy braking, there's this nose dive, and obviously it lifts the nose under heavy acceleration. Nothing like, say, the GMC Hummer EV, which has a massive suspension travel. The suspension travel here is also good. The G450D will obviously be more efficient, but this car's efficiency is quite bad because of the heavy weight and the powerful engine. In fact, this will return somewhere between 3 to 5 kilometers per liter, which is bad, but that's the reason it has a 100-liter fuel tank, a massive fuel tank. Okay, let me come out of this particular mode and come into my, not my favorite. Sport is not my favorite. It's the classic, which is my favorite. It revs till almost 7,000 RPM. So we're going to launch it here to see exactly till where it revs. Paddle shifters help, but then most of the time the gear is not available only. The downshifts are also aggressive. The way it makes these pops and cracks and broops. Wow, amazing. And that's one of the reasons why the G63 AMG is so popular. It completely defies physics. Hazards on. Okay, let's quickly change this mode. Let's come into AMG performance. Let's come into vehicle data here. Let me change this drive mode as well. We will come into super sport because we are going to launch it and see how it performs. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, race start. Unbelievable. The acceleration really defies physics. I said that multiple times. First and foremost, the way it's squashed down, it's so amazing. You lift up and you're like, oh my god, this is a roller coaster of sorts, because obviously it's very, very, very heavy. Power delivery is more rear biased here, and it's very grippy somehow, even with traction control off now, unless and until you're on a surface which has a lot of mud or maybe like a loose surface. It's not going to make wheel spin sounds, but it does make wheel spin sounds if you launch it aggressively on slightly dirty patch of road, and almost all patches of road in India are a little dirty here or there. So it's actually fun to drive. Body roll is there. Obviously it has to be there with the kind of weight and top heaviness, but it is surprisingly composed even on the worst of roads, and it actually feels like you're driving your house which has been wrapped to a rocket behind, because that's the way it accelerates. In terms of water weighting capacity, 700 mm, which is not the best. Air suspension would have made it better. And there's something known as a G mode. It's for off-road driving specifically. The four-wheel drive system is obviously permanent, so all the time power is being channeled to both the axles here. And because of the heavy weight of the car, you would definitely want to get the G63 only and not the diesel. Obviously diesel has a torque advantage and efficiency advantage, but it's the G63 AMG for me personally is a real G wagon, because with the kind of performance, with the kind of grunt, with the kind of thrust, and with the, that is the fun, yeah, that is the fun of a G wagon. I've just changed it to track pace right now. That also looks cool with the G-force meter and all. Who would have expected all of this in a freaking Mercedes G-Wagon? Now, it has got 3 locking differentials with 100% locking effect, obviously. And these are fully locking differentials. There's a low range transfer case as well. Yeah, it says low range right there. So how does the G mode activate? When you activate the low range, like lock one of the differentials, that is when it activates the G mode. So it changes the accelerator characteristics also. It changes the way the gear shifts happen in the car. It ensures that, okay, I'm not talking to you. It ensures maximum off-road ability, but the fun is obviously going fast in a straight line, because this has the same output as the AMG GTR. Isn't that mind-blowing? Even with the mild hybrid system, you're like, why does not the output increase overall? Because the mild hybrid system only pitches. Shut up! Don't talk to me. Yeah, the mild hybrid system only pitches in at certain times. It's not always active to pitch in with more power because the battery has to be charged as well. And it's a mild hybrid system at the end of the day. The next generation model, which will hopefully retain the V8, will obviously get a strong hybrid. Imagine a 700 horsepower G-Wagon. That would be something, na? That would be absolutely cool. This understated menu is, like it says, understated, obviously. You know, the G400D was offered in 2 variants, and obviously it had all those accessories and all, but that was more towards usability and practicality. This car is more about being sporty, and that's the reason Mercedes offers sportier accessories like these massive wheels. 22-inch optional wheels are not suited for our roads, and that's one of the reasons why over bad roads you have to be a bit careful, because you're like, I don't want to crack the rim of the car. So higher profile tires definitely recommended, because with high profile tires you will be really able to take the G-Wagon in multiple places. Although it's a different story altogether that 99% people who buy the G-Wagon never take it off-road unless and until you consume diesel and you whistle that diesel. You're really not going to use the full capability of your G-Wagon, if you know what I mean. So the G-Wagon diesel, the G400D, was priced at around rupees 3 crores. This one goes above 4 crores easily, depending on the optional bit. In fact, they had a grand edition of the pre-facelifted version of the G-Wagon, which actually was priced at rupees 4.73 crores on road Mumbai. I think it has some optional bits here or there. That's the reason why the prices were like a bit obnoxious. Let's stop in the shadow. It's becoming so hot, just like this freaking car. Okay, let's quickly change the drive mode. Let's do it for the navigation one. That doesn't look cool enough to me, honestly. I don't like this one, because why do you want a full map in front of you? So we are going to come out of that. The classic one is the best, I personally believe, and you can hear the tire noise. There's so much noise coming from almost everywhere, from the tires, obviously from the wheels too. So yeah, wind noise is a problem, especially when you accelerate hard. Tire noise is a problem when you try to corner hard, because of the shape of this car. And this car has been on sale for 45 years around that time. So it first came in 1979, and it was launched as a commercial vehicle later on. It's made by Magna Steyr. I think Mercedes invested, and now it's part of Mercedes-Benz. So that's based in Austria, Magna Steyr. And you know what? It was launched as a military off-road vehicle. It was sold as a Puch and Puch G till 2000. And it has had various names over the years. It is the longest produced vehicle by Mercedes-Benz, but only after the Unimog. In fact, the second generation of the G-Wagon was launched in 2018 in G63 AMG, guys. In 2019, they came up with the G350D. In 2023, they came up with the G400D. And in 2024, the second generation of the G-Wagon got a facelift as well. So in 2025, EQG will be launched in India. It's not going to be called the EQG, it's going to be called the G-Wagon Electric, because they're going away from the EQ name, obviously. And 2026, they're going to come up with a mini version of the G-Wagon, because the name and the brand and everything has become so popular that they are going to definitely try and leverage that as well. So how do you actually get hold of a G-Wagon? Because waiting period is quite a lot. They had launched just 120 units for the initial batch, which have been sold out already, which is a nice revenue of which is a revenue of 500 crores just with the G-Wagon, which is a fully imported car. Can you freaking believe it? It's more than 500 crores, because obviously a lot of people also customize their cars, which is quite amazing. Okay, now we're going to launch it again. Let's change this to the engine mode. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving it, race start, and off we go. Mercedes has also started offering something known as the G Professional package, wherein you get specific off-road equipment for the car, maybe off-road specific tires, off-road specific bumpers, special interior trim to go off-road as well. I don't know how many people are going to opt for it, because most people obviously buy this car as a style statement, as a fashion statement. In Dubai, you see them a lot. In spite of the fact that there's a 4-year waiting period for this car in Dubai, but that's one of the major reasons why people actually buy this car as an investment. It's expensive. Some of the stuff inside this car doesn't make sense, like the weight and obviously the size and the dimensions, because that obviously bogs this car down in terms of the way this car is just not able to cheat wind at all. Yet it is actually quite stable at high speeds, because the older car, the first generation model, was horrendous. When you would take it around the corner, it just wouldn't go through the corner that comfortably. But here things have definitely changed for the better with the new generation model, where Mercedes has actually done quite a lot of trickery as well. So look at the G-Wagon as an investment of sorts, because prices keep going upwards and the resale value is absolutely insane, because the demand far outstrips the supply. And and okay, the tire noise you can hear. Front end making quite a lot of sound. So guys, this is my video of the Mercedes G63 AMG, an icon of sorts, an absolute amazing machine. What a car, what a machine, fast, fun, desirable, feature loaded now, and extremely capable off the road if you ever try to venture out of the urban environment, that is. However, with the electric version of the G-Wagon, which also does a tank turn, which is one of the bigger USPs of this car, something which even the BYD U8 is doing right now, Mercedes does have a uphill climb to make that car as popular as this one, because this is so freaking iconic. A Mercedes G63 AMG is one of the best SUVs, and as far as electrics go, there's a lot of competition there, because the Hummer EV, yes, look at the way the Hummer EV absolutely lifts up under heavy acceleration, and the kind of suspension it has made a name for itself as far as electric cars go, or electric SUVs go, or hyper electric SUVs go. But the G-Wagon has absolutely no competition when it comes to the G63 AMG, or even the diesel version for that matter, because this car is absolutely unrivaled. There's nothing quite like the G-Wagon. It has definitely stood the test of time. On that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.